Hello, trans fans. Hope you're doing great so far into the new year, and if there's one thing I love more than committing sins, it's Transformers. And 2022 was a fairly big year for Transformers. Earthspark released and brought new energy to the fiction. We got our first intentional non-binary character with Nightshade. We had some Rise of the Beast trailer hype. TFCon Chicago was great. And finally, we had some pretty amazing robots this year. So if you'll join me, here's my very late video for my top 10 Transformers toys of 2022. The TTTTOTTT. Some things to set down first: don't take the numberings on this list too seriously. Consider what constitutes the different places on this list to fall into a creek of vagueness. I'm not really bothered with trying to be precise with these things, as if I'm mathematically trying to determine which figures are better than others based on articulation or parts count. This is more of a favorites video than anything else, a chronicling of the best of my collection in the past year. What I'm basically saying is that people who take ranking things too seriously are losers. Oh, and about 90% of this list is Generations figures. You guys know this about me, that's just the kind of collector I am. So, might I suggest we fucking roll out? At number David Tennant is MPG Trainbot Shuki. I very rarely do Masterpiece figures, but this one caught my attention because there's no Generations version of the character. I decided to go down this mysterious railroad, and I'm so happy I did. The robot mode's all impressive, the color scheme is delicious with the creamy white and TARDIS blue, and the head sculpt is so sexy. For a Masterpiece, the transformation is actually very manageable, and the train mode, seeing it in person for the first time, left me speechless. I have no plans on getting the rest of the train bots, but Shuki is probably the most out there thing I got this year, and it is so beautiful. Number 9 is Legacy Galaxy Shuttle. I thought I completely knew what I was getting into with this figure since it's a repaint of a figure I've had for 2 years now, but this absolutely skyrocketed my expectations. It's interesting how I find myself preferring this figure over Astro Train despite not knowing anything about Galaxy Shuttle as a character. This new coat of paint hits so unbelievably hard, giving this crazy locomotive Cruella charm. I realize that I'm 2 spots in and both of them are train characters. And the head sculpt looks like jazz, which means it looks hot. Sometimes a figure being really fun to play with while looking incredibly sexy is enough.
The Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil.
Looking great at number 8 is Legacy Laser Optimus Prime. I've always been super interested in this particular Prime design, and I'm so happy to see it make a resurgence this year. It's rare we get a new mainline G2 character that isn't a repaint, so this was a while coming. I'm very aware this is apparently not perfect, like maybe the trailer could have used more flair, his jumbo lollipop axe is a bit weird, and people keep saying the legs are disproportionately long, but I've never noticed or cared about that. To me, this is just a handsome, beautiful, unique Optimus Prime toy with a mind-bending transformation. Also number 8, equally great, is Scourge, whose black, pink, and turquoise is just everything. Number 7, it's GX's baby! This is a stellar figure with just a beautiful transformation, a delightfully garish hot dog topping color scheme, and just a mad as hell face. Also, he's got little green bat wings on his legs. If that's not top 10 material, then GTFO. Number 6, look out and shout, it's Legacy Blaster. I've never had a blaster before, and I didn't really like how the other ones out there looked, but I can say that my patience paid off, and this blaster, it's perfect. It's everything that it needed to be. It's so clean and slick, everything slots into place so satisfyingly in the transformation. Eject is a really fun accessory. It's an entirely solid Voyager toy with nothing wrong with it in my eyes. An absolute good time. So now that we're midway through the list, I thought I'd drop some quick mentions of some non-Transformers figures that I personally really loved. Firstly, Marvel Legends She-Hulk. I loved the show, and I love She-Hulk herself, and this figure is amazing. I got really into Star Wars The Vintage Collection this past year, and I think my favorite find of the year has to be the Rise of Skywalker Rey figure, because she's my favorite character, and this is probably the definitive 3 3/4 inch version of her. It's just such a wonderful and satisfying figure for a very special character. I also have to give a major shout out to Reva and Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show wave. Both of those figures are truly phenomenal and some of the best 3 3/4 inch figures I think I've ever seen. Alright, so now that that's over, let us continue on to the second half of the list. Number 5 is Iguanus. I'm a certified core class stan. I love tiny yet satisfying robots, and Iguanus stole the show for me. They're a lizard fish looking robot who's impossible to not love. The purple and rose colors are super attractive, the yellow eyes, the Batman gloves, and the bike mode is actually pretty great. This is just so good. It's barely over $10 and it's as satisfying as figures multiple times that. I think a figure like this could be a great entry point into Transformers with how fantastic and inexpensive it is. I really can't wait to see what Core Class has to offer going into the new year. Speeding past number 4 is Legacy Dragstrip. This figure is a huge landmark in several ways. It's the best Dragstrip toy, it's the best Combiner Limb toy, and it's easily the best deluxe class figure of the year. I don't think I could have predicted how excellent this would turn out. Both modes are great, the transformation is extravagant and enjoyable, and just like Iguanus, I feel like this would be a great first Transformer for somebody wanting to get into the franchise. They look so great with the other Legacy Stunticons, but it's so individually satisfying as their own bot too, which is the sign of a great combiner figure. Number 3 is HasLab Victory Saber. I think everybody could have guessed this would be on here, but this is a stellar thing. The Victory Leo, the Star Saber, and the Saber are all individually satisfying as figures, but all together they make something that's truly electrifying and special. I originally wasn't planning on getting Deathsaurus, but this was just so phenomenal, it's what pushed me into backing it. The colors pop with such a vibrance and the design is so unrelentingly badass. Star Saber just feels so integral to Transformers as a pop culture entity, and I didn't realize how much I was missing out on him until I got this. This is easily one of the best Transformer sets of all time. They're an absolute star and an undisputed victory. Number 2 is Legacy Transmetal 2 Megatron. No, I didn't do that on purpose. So I admit I still haven't really engaged myself with the Beast Wars fiction, so there's still much more to discover for me. However, this figure is an absolute beast and a monster, and I love him. The robot mode is so different, the dragon mode is phenomenal, and this figure carries so much gravity with it. Like, the presence this thing has is outrageous. It's so brilliant and strange and it's wonderful. The red body and orange wings make him look literally hot as hell, and it's a Megatron that turns into a giant red dragon. In all seriousness, that's all that needs to be said. And lastly, for number 1, who could it be but friggin' Motormaster? I was unprepared for the sheer amount of how much ass this thing would kick. The figure itself is so wonderfully realized with the sculpt and the colors, the transformation's great, the alt mode is incredible, and I love how he's got little truck cabs as his feet. The trailer itself is super good and heavy. It's just a fantastic set where you get a wonderful menacing truck and a heavy trailer that turns into an ultra satisfying Menasor body. I knew the second I opened this thing it would be my number 1 toy, and it's just wild how special this thing turned out to be. Now, that wraps up my favorite bots of the year list. It's truly such a great time to be a Transformers fan, right? To think that we got Victory Saber, Transmetal 2 Megatron, Laser Optimus Prime, and G-Axis in the same year. We are so spoiled, and I can't wait to see what comes for the new year. It's already looking pretty bright for me. So let's march forward into a new age of peace and happiness, till all are one, baby!